Not how numbers work.
And we are live.
Woo!
Hello, everybody.
I forgot where the camera was.
Yeah, we slide things down a couple days and everything gets jacked up.
Hey, at least I've got all our stuff on mute. We're not
Do
hearing
we?
ourselves. I do. I put my ringer off.
I'm not
right?
really sure yet. Hello, everyone. Hey, look, you're there in the thing. Okay, all right. So we are here this week. Welcome, everyone. I'm Corpulent Geek. That is
Christina, Sci-Fi Christina.
You
Me.
had to think of your own
I
name.
am me.
And we are here this week. We are the Threatened Ganglia vodcast to discuss Season 1, Episode 11 of Star Trek Discovery's The Wolf Inside. So many double meanings with that whole thing. The wolf in sheep's clothing. The hunt for the firewolf. The firewolf. It sounds cool.
Ouch.
But, of course, you know, if he's the torchbearer, he's got to be the
Tastes like
firewolf,
morning.
too. So that sounds good. And there was all kind of... other big reveals this week. Wait, was this week the one when he came out to her? I'm all backed up. There was so many reveals in the last 2 weeks.
And the funny thing was, I watched the show, and then we didn't record where we usually do, so I even had more time to like think about it. But for some reason, it was very fuzzy in my head, and maybe it was because we were just very fuzzy headed this week. But then, like today, as we were getting closer to recording, I was like, so what happened? And I think what happened was just a lot of stuff that we kind of knew was going to happen. Like, that's what I felt like. Like, all of the reveals were like, yep, check. Yep, oh yeah, that too. Yep, Emperor. Of course it is. And it was like all of those things were like, yes, this is exactly how.
Oh, I just got the mic check joke from in the Facebook room now. Now, reading the live chat here in the YouTube-y thing.
So,
I'm like, ooh, shiny. Yes, we were talking about how we both have brothers named Mike.
Yes.
And so, sorry. Anyway, all right. So we are in the clear all moorings section, which is, dang it, down there in the middle. You're not allowed to point. You have it easy. You just point down. What? No, you were right.
I was right? Yeah. Clear all
you
moorings.
did screw it up. All you got to do is point down.
This is the episode we're talking about. That's my husband.
Hi. Yeah, so we're trying to get in the habit of having sections to our show. There's the Clear All Mooring sections where we're whacking goofy and talk about just the intro and say hi and things like that. And we're about to go all ahead full impulse, right? All ahead full impulse. And what's that part of the show?
We are on top of this.
We are, but...
Did we open any notes to check us about how the show runs?
No, we know how the show runs.
Do it live.
This is the part there where we talk about just a couple of little brief things. We're supposed to have quick hits and quick hits that we already wrote down, but we don't have any of that today.
Nothing down. This is unscripted.
Because we're all full of Polish food because today was birthday celebrations and stuff, so everything got all messed up. But yeah, how about that poor Lorca getting jazzed up in the thing? I never want to look as bad as agonized Booth Lorca looks.
I swear, and I meant to mention this out loud, and I didn't. Even on the rewatch, I was like, when she went in to talk with him, when she went in to talk with him after he had been in the booth, I swear he had like a southern accent. He sounded like he was like from Tennessee. It was like, what happened? They agonized an accent into him.
No, he has always had a bit of an accent.
But
a
bit, yeah. He has had a bit of an accent, but I mean, was like
his best accent that he had is when he's being the Scottish engineer.
Oh yeah.
For the Discovery. Oh, so Darjeeling Sun is your brother?
That's my brother, yeah.
Oh, all right.
All of his handles are artsy.
Oh, of
artsy
course.
Guy.
So the good news is that tonight's vodcast started out, and we were on the road to 23 subscribers. 23 is just a special number to me. So I wanted to get to that. So now we've got 23 subscribers. So now we're on the road to 30 subscribers, as my dad used to say.
30
So... subscribe. If you're here watching and you didn't subscribe, hit that little subscribe. I said I'd never do this kind of stuff, but for some reason I just want to get a couple people watching the show. So thank you all for being here.
A couple people we don't know in our day-to-day lives.
There's some people that we don't know in our day-to-day lives.
I know. That's why I'm saying like you
That's
did
why
this
it's
and
good.
now we do, and it's good stuff.
Anyway, so more stuff about the episode. So whereas I don't want to look like Agonizer Booth Lorca, I do want to look like Emperor Georgiou.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks fabulous.
Yeah. At one point, I noticed that like her cloak that she had, it had like a train. It was huge. It like pooled on the floor behind her, and I was like, that is so impractical, and I love it.
Here we go. I'm shooting that picture right up right now for people to look at, and it really does look fabulous. It's really big, though, right in the middle between us. You can't even see all of you. There we go. I made it a little bit smaller. But
I'm waiting for it to come up.
well, all right. If we're going to do that kind of thing, then we're just
weird delay
outlandish.
loop as I'm like, I look for the picture.
Yeah. But yeah, her outfit really did remind me, though, that I think we've discovered who Supreme Leader Snoke is. Because, like, there's just so much gold in that weird gold outfit of his from Last Jedi. No spoilers about that movie, but nice. He was wearing gold at some point.
The fun fact that I loved learning, I think, on After Trek, was that they were creating the sword for her. And they were like creating the sword for her because why is the actress's name? I cannot remember actresses' names when I'm here sitting here. All right, well, she's a martial arts actress, and so, Michelle Yeoh, yeah. So like she has a lot of experience with swords and stuff, and so they were like running it by her. And I think on one of the times she was catching a plane or something, and they like ran it out to her on the tarmac, and she like hefted it, and she was like, no, the hilt isn't quite right. The handle needs to do this and that, and so then they like took it away and fixed it again. And I was like, that's badass, and I love it.
It would have been cool if she took it and was like, no, this isn't right because look, my wrist hurts a little bit when I cut this guy over here in half.
Stab. No, the balance isn't quite off.
Yeah.
I would have liked to actually hit him in the liver, and this was too much of a stomach wound.
In the liver. All right. Well, all right. We're going to make her go away because she's intimidating me and making me be like, I
love it.
Anyway, all right. So
I love it. I love the bookends of how this is running. This is exciting.
Yeah. All right. So we should jump. We should go to warp because we have lots of stuff we want to talk about with this show. If you don't mind, I'm going to dive in with something first.
Go for it.
The biggest thing in my eyes that happened this week that I was pleasantly surprised about was they had the reveal moment between Tyler and Burnham, and they've done a good job setting things up for us the whole time that we knew what was going to happen. We knew that Tyler was Vogue. But I love the way that they did it for us, but we've known this fact for so long that I was scared that the moment was going to fall flat between the two of them, because I have the habit of me, like, not getting emotionally involved in things. Shut it before you say anything over there. And so I thought for sure that they were going to have a cheeseball emotional moment where that happens, and I just kind of tune out until throat crushing starts. Luckily, they did have throat crushing pretty quickly, but I think those two actors did a great job with that scene, and I was there. I was hooked, and I usually don't get that way about things that go on.
Yeah. The character in a lot of shows that we watch, it really does. As soon as the quote-unquote character development starts to happen and there's a lot of talking and emotions, it's kind of like, let's get to the fun stuff. But in this show, the character development has been very driven, and I've really liked it. And that scene, which you knew was coming, and it was like, as soon as you killed Culber, and as soon as those things happened, it was like, oh, Burnham's gonna get pissed, or she's gonna be crushed. I don't know. She's gonna be crushed and pissed. She's gonna be pissed and crushed. It's gonna be great. And so, like, it didn't disappoint. Sometimes when you build stuff up like that, it's they're like, oh well, that's not how I thought that would go.
Yeah.
And it did, and it didn't disappoint. And because she was vulnerable enough and had opened herself enough to him, when it came down to the throat crushing, like you were like, oh no, she's not. Clearly she's not going to die. She's our hero or heroine.
Yeah.
So it was like, how is she going to get out of this? Is she going to do a quick punch or a quick kick between the legs or whatever, and then all of a sudden he's being thrown across the room, and you're like, it's Mira Saru to the rescue!
Yes, my man.
And I knew, you were like, yeah!
As soon as that hand went on his thing, I was like, I recognize those long fingers, baby! But actually, oddly enough, the Saru being the one that rescued her was my second favorite part of that scene. My favorite part was she had just gotten done getting choked for a significant amount of time. And she was like crumpled down onto the ground, and she took like one breath to like, oh, thank God I can breathe again. Another breath of, oh, wow, I can't believe how my life in this mission is falling apart. And by the third breath, she was standing back up, and she got her Mirror Universe Michael Burnham face on, and she was strutting out the door. Right past Saru, because you know that in her heart she wanted to like be like, thank you, Saru, for saving me. And she like walks out in the hallway and talks to her number one and is like all back in character. And it's like, nah.
Yeah, and never didn't skip a beat or hesitate when she said, you know, we're getting the transporter room ready because, you know, an attempt on the captain, the law is death. And she was just like, of course. And it was like, alrighty then. And she put her plan into motion without hesitating and hemming and hawing, which is what she did for the like in the overarching other plot line where she was trying to save the not the colony but the base, the rebel base, because she did a lot of like, no, don't do that, you know, we're gonna go down to the surface and find intel and you know, ready the torpedoes, but don't fire until I do. And so there was no hemming and hawing. It was just like, yep, we're gonna kill him. And then she was like, this is how I'm going to get my disc off the ship. And she managed to make it work. And it was awesome that it just went. Psh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the people online that were bemoaning the fact. And they were like, how'd Discovery know to go and pick her up? It was like, well, she sauntered off to her room and made a quick phone call and said, hey, guys, get within double transporter range. And,
I'm going to shoot this guy onto space.
Yeah.
Save him, don't save him, but the disc is going to be in his bag. Yeah. Like, you decide.
At least let him stay out there till the frost starts forming on his cheeks. I was like, that frost came in quick and it left quick. I was like, oh, man, I would like to have seen that. Be there a little bit. But we're flying all over the place here, so sorry. But that slides right into my next favorite part was Saru's speech to Voq when they caught him in like I forget the exact text of it, but that was quintessential Star Trek, because he was like explaining to Voq what the Federation's all about, and like, yeah, we're not just going to kill you. We put you up for a trial. All right, see you, George. Thank you very much for stopping by.
George. I was going to type it, and then I was like, no, I can just talk right to him.
Yeah, but then again, with the delay, hopefully he saw that. But yeah, I don't know who mentioned it first in the room there, but they were talking about how the Emperor reminded us of Flash Gordon.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, a lot of the Mirror Universe stuff harkens back to that. I don't ever remember hearing that come up before either.
Yeah.
But, that Flash Gordon movie. We should do.
I was about to say, like, I almost want to watch it again.
We're going to put a little tick mark in doing a talk about that one.
I think Liam could really enjoy that one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Campy
kid safe, right? I can't think of
sure.
anything too bad that goes on. All right, cool. All right, so moving on. Yes, the Saru's little speech there at the end was great, because that brought all kind of old school Star Trek feel back into things.
Yeah, for all of the people who were like, it's not Star Trek enough, I felt like that definitely.
And I do understand their complaints, but it doesn't bother me, because this is definitely different than Star Trek. But the only thing that did bother me in that scene was the way that he pulled up that disc, and then the thing went into it, and his face was there, and he was looking at it, and it was a little bit like, all right, that's cheeseball. If we had like one little light coming through, hitting it, and a little angelic music in the background, that would have been like, come on. Anywho, all right. So what is next? What what did you do before? You babble about something, and I'm gonna try and pull up some images.
I'm gonna babble about something. So
something show related.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I enjoyed Sarek's role in the Rebel base, and I truly enjoyed how he mind melds with her, and he sees all of these flashes. So he pretty much knows the deal now. Mind meld is like, you get everything. Your minds are one, and so you know what's happening. And he, true to his position of Oracle, turns and gives this like bland answer. Yes, we can trust her.
Yeah, the fact that part of my brain was in her somehow.
That's all he said was, how could this be? all right,
whatever.
We can trust her.
Yeah.
And then I supremely loved his answer when they were all like, after Tyler goes and attacks Valk, or Valk attacks Valk, however you want to say that. And he goes, I didn't say anything about him. I said her intentions were true. He was just clearly like, I don't know. I said, you can still trust her. She's good to go.
Yeah, but I really wish that they would have mind melded with Tyler. But I understand that would have changed the dynamic of the reveal between those two.
Yeah.
But like that would have been really cool to try and see what Sarek's. He would have been like, there's a Klingon in here. Hey, he's got most of your stuff in here.
Yeah, that Klingon's in here.
This is confusing.
Let's send them back to their ship.
Yeah. All right, I'm almost ready for this one other thing, but I do wanted to pull in and mention one other thing. You liked the Sarek being in there, right? Well, this right here, I'm throwing up a picture right now that has the table of all the aliens on the Rebel base. Mm-hmm. We got this from Entertainment Weekly. Had some exclusive pictures of the aliens, which is the next thing I want to slide on into.
Cool.
I got to make this a little bit smaller there so we can see your beautiful face. And something I noticed, we have Sarek had the Vulcan goatee for the Mirror Universe, but there's this Vulcan dude at this table, and he does not have the
evil goatee.
The goatee. So I think he's the spy that turned in their location to the Emperor.
Oh.
Not really. This is just silliness I'm talking about
ridiculous
here. But I definitely saw that. I did like that whole feel of the whole table that was going on there, and the feel of this young newfound Federation that they were showing.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But one in particular that I really enjoyed, way more than I thought I would have, was the Tellurite.
The Tellurite?
Tellurite, yes. I enjoyed him so much, I'm not going to bother saying his name right. But I threw up the picture from EW there, the close-up image of him, and he looks like a character I want to learn more about. I want to learn more about their race. Yeah. The hair on the sides reminds me of like regular Prime Universe Klingons, and he doesn't look ridiculous. And for comparison, here I'm throwing up the original series Tellurite that you can see, and it's just a human with a lot of hair and a pig nose, and a little bit of like eyebrow ridgy stuff. And I mean that guy, I remember seeing him when I was young, and I was like, that dude's scary. We should not be in any kind of an alliance with anything that looks like that.
Never be talking to them.
If I can look directly into your brain from
through your nostrils,
yeah, that's no good. That's orc right there, and everyone knows orcs aren't good. So, but
the Tellurite species, oh my, yes.
Yeah, see, you finally got there, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it was scary.
Where are his eyes?
Sunken inside those eye sockets.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's so scary. I got to get rid of them.
Were the Tellurites? Was that the race that had stabbed Picard? Was that where we heard Domjot?
No, that's where we heard it, but it's not the same race. I was just saying that this version of the Tellurites reminded me of that alien one. Yeah. And like when I first saw it, I was like, "Is that them?" Oh man, I should have that name.
Human played Domjot.
Yes.
That was what they. We should know that.
Yeah, we should know that. But we're full of pierogies. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that was Tellurites that I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. So, I think we should even was there anything you wanted to touch on with the Stamets, Culber plot line, because like not a lot happened. They seem to be setting up for stuff, but
I definitely I assume that a lot of what they talked about with fungus is what they had gotten from Dr. Stamets's book. Because that was Tilly's thing was about how
all the
she talked to
technobabble.
the technobabble was all biology based, about how fungus or fungi are the only species that link like death and life, and so I mean I think they're basically foreshadowing this bringing Culber back.
Baby.
And yeah, so that's
they're gonna.
exciting, and the end was super exciting where Mirror Stamets comes in and is like, hey, I'm glad to see you've made it. Let's get to work. And so I'm interested to see. I think Krista had asked me what Mirror Stamets is going to be like, and both of us were like, they're probably going to be the same, because he was curmudgeonly and scientific, and then I mean when he got on the spores, he was.
But theoretically, shouldn't Mirror Stamets be the hippy dippy Stamets that we saw a little bit? Like when during the multiple Discovery Explode episode, when they ran into each other in the hallway, he was like, "Dude, it's all good."
Yeah, and I was wondering if
I think
that
would
just
be the opposite of
curmudgeonly scientific Stamets. Yeah. I was thinking that they would both have the same scientific demeanor that original like pre-spore Stamets had, but that because our Prime Universe Stamets was very much for wanting to explore the bones and muscles of the veins and muscles of the universe, and he just wanted to discover. He wanted pure science, wanted to just discover and for the knowledge, and then he got co-opted by Starfleet because a war had started. Whereas Terran Empire were always kind of at war, so I would kind of assume that Terran Empire Stamets would have been like, I want to find a device that would help us crush the rebellion and spread humans throughout the world, and so or throughout the galaxy. And so I'm wondering if that's his demeanor, just having created this thing to help.
Okay.
More of a Nazi scientist type thing. But maybe not. Maybe they're both like pure science. Like maybe pure scientist is universal, or multi-universal.
And but also someone points out in the room that it could have just been the spores making him hippy dippy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I thought maybe he was just under the influence of spores, and he wasn't exhibiting anything from another universe. I also agree with that, Sam.
So, see, I'm having trouble going with thinking that I'm all over the place now. That Mirror Universe Discovery has a spore drive, because I can't see the Emperor allowing Captain Killy to have the ship that has the spore drive, unless like it's not even known to the Emperor that she has that. Because like Mirror Stamets knew about, like he was there somehow in the forest, in that spore forest. So he's got some kind of access to the spore stuff, and I
also could see the Terran Empire. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I also could see the Terran Empire developing the spore drive based off of their encounter with the Defiant. Yeah, the Defiant is the right.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on because in the past they had 100 years ago they had this encounter where this ship came over from another universe. And so for 100 years, they had been researching ways to recreate that. So I could see that's how their development of the spore drive came from.
Their development came from them trying to breach dimensions and not necessarily hop around in their own dimension.
True.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying.
That's pretty good. All right. So... what else happened? Anything else happened this week that is not part of Black Alert that we should chit-chat about?
I would love to say my predictions of seeing his flashbacks change and having them be Vox flashbacks and not Tyler's flashbacks was correct. Saying it.
Well, but Human Tyler and her were still the ones that did the boingy boingy, right?
I don't know if that one we saw change. Like
I don't think we saw that one
specifically
change.
saw his
Voke now in
Voke remembering the surgeries, which would just, I mean, I would hope in the 23rd century that if you really wanted to like change someone, you really didn't have to cut them open while they're awake.
Ooh, that reminds me, I have something else I wanted to pull up. Can you talk about Mirror Saru and that whole thing while I dig out for a piece of media?
I mean, I understood why he asked if we had met his mirror person, especially because obviously there weren't any records of him in the Terran Empire because he is not like an enlisted member. I am interested as to why they had him on board, even as a slave. Like, that seemed like a stretch just to place the character there because we know him in the Prime universe.
Well, I could see his race being a slave race, but however few there are.
Yeah.
And I was listening to another podcast. Unfortunately, I can't remember which one because there's a lot that I listen to. But they mentioned that in Dark Mirror, Worf was a servant to Mirror Picard, and he was very much like Saru was, very docile and everything. So I think that they wanted to, pardon the pun, mirror that type of relationship.
That is true. Although Saru's in Prime Universe, Saru would have been like, if for some reason that's how they came out, they would have been like that. It's because of what Starfleet was that he was able to try and overcome his genetic background to become a leader and an explorer.
All right. I'm gonna. Was there anything else Saru-wise you wanted to mention? Because I found the thing I was looking for.
No, was there anything else you wanted to mention about it?
Aside from the fact he's awesome, and I'm sure he gives great back rubs.
That was so weird. I was like, oh god, she's taking a bath.
But I had this image here that I'm throwing up on the screen. That's mildly graphic, but not really, because it's a drawing. It's from a comic that goes along with Arvin Darvin. Arvin Darvin. I don't remember what his name is. But this picture right here shows what he had to go through. Because in the Trouble with Tribbles episode of the original series, there was a Klingon that went through humaning. And they humaning? They made him look human, and here they're showing how they go and scrape down the cranial ridges. Here, I'm going to try and blow this up a little bit so you can see a little bit more detail.
Yeah, that first panel, the upper left panel, where they peel his skin off and then file down the ridges on the bone.
Yeah. And then they're just pouring acid on his chest to untoughen the skin and everything. It's like, oh boy, they go
pretty
through
horrible.
A lot of terribly painful stuff. And the best one I like is down here on the back. It'll take a little bit of time to slide up over in the YouTubes, but because if you remember there was a Next Generation. Oh, I got to get over here. There was a Next Generation episode of Next Generation where Worf had a spinal injury, and you see that he's got the skull ridges go all the way down his back.
Yeah.
And all. And by now it might be up there where they're showing.
Didn't they have two spines or two sets of something? I felt like Dr. Pulaski had gone through all of his physiology. I remember they have just so much extra.
Yeah, because at some point during that, didn't he die? And there was another one that was there in the background that was really keeping him alive, but they didn't detect or something weird.
Yeah,
maybe that's where everyone gets the 2 Johnson for Klingons thing about Lorca's comment that we don't even have the right number of organs for you.
Yeah.
So if we had been good people and written notes, I'm sure that there was something else that we wanted to cover about this week's one, but we just came out of out shooting. Was there anything else that you can think of that we wanted to cover about this past episode? I'm I'm excited to see what happens next week with the Emperor and how they're going to a palace, even though Stamets tries telling them time and time again, don't go to the palace. The enemy is here. Why won't anyone listen to me? I'm trying to tell you all what's happening.
Yeah, I'm very excited. In the preview, it looked like Ash was having some sort of medical emergency, so of course then he leaves the brig and goes to med bay or sick bay. They call it med bay on this one? I feel like one of them did.
I don't know what they call it. Well, what they should call it is hardly ever used, because like there's on the other shows, like there always seem to be people in and out. Like definitely on Next Generation.
Maybe you know what though? It seems more like original Star Treks where it was smaller.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, like because we're used to and had watched
smaller
most of
crew
Dr.
complement.
Crusher. Yeah, Dr. Crusher on the Enterprise D, and they had thousands of people with families on the ship. So theirs was going to act more like a hospital and a doctor's office. So a lot more people would have been coming through. Whereas
that's true.
These are smaller ships and have smaller crew complements.
But I
I'm
think
willing
sick
to
bay.
suspend my disbelief in that.
I think sick bay.
Yeah,
Not
I
like
think
it
they
matters
did too.
though. So he was having but that's just probably his body going into shock, being like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's something. But so he'll end up back in sick bay somehow.
Hopefully, it's not one of his teeth is fake and he's trying to off himself.
No, I can't see.
Yeah,
that
there would
being,
be no
being
point.
a choice.
There would be no point
in
to doing
Klingons.
something like that.
I'm interested to see how
But
L'Rell,
no,
how she orchestrates the next step. If this was part of the plan, if she thought like when he does, transition to remembering, like if being caught was something that she had accounted for, and so him ending up back in sickbay is part of the plan. Like they've done something to help him have to get out of the brig. I don't know. We'll see.
I think they are all off plan now, because I think that the human emotions and the human spirit of Tyler that got layered over Volk messed up the transition thing. So I think that a lot of their plans may be off base.
Yeah,
but
he seemed to recover now, and he's like pure Volk now, because he was gonna kill you for Takufan.
he does definitely seem to be that way now, but I wouldn't put it past them to have like Tyler start to try and reassert himself.
Maybe.
Like,
but I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know where I want it to go. Now that we all know and he's out and everyone's like, I don't know where I want it to go, or if I even. I mean, they will do what they do, and hopefully they'll do it well. I just don't know where. I don't know how this all will end. Like I feel like on this journey we have. They've done such a good job of laying the right breadcrumbs and kind of seeing where it goes. And now that we're so close to the end, it's like, but I don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see it, but I almost don't want it to, because I do enjoy it that much.
And I don't know how I want it to end, because like it can't end happily ever after. There's no mechanism where that happens where it's not cheeseball.
Yeah, and I feel like they showed so many torpedoes on that planet that we're to believe that the rebellion is dead. Well, like that they took out the rebellion.
Well, but we don't know how many of them got to escape.
That is true, but I don't.
The main leaders, but the whole point, like even if they killed 3/4 of the rebellion, when Mirror Lorca's plan follows through and Michael Burnham kills the Emperor and then tells everyone what they can do. What they can do, you can go up. That they can live in peace and tranquility and everything. Then that doesn't matter. But I can't tell you the number of people that online that are saying they're convinced that Michael Burnham is going to stay in his mirror universe and try and.
I feel like I had said something along those lines a week or two ago.
No.
Where that would. Nice. That could be a possibility, because so many of her bridges are burnt in the other universe.
Yeah.
Like her. I mean, clearly she's got to do something about this emperor, and killing this woman who she, so admired in, Universe Prime was.
Yeah, but I don't think she's going to have a problem doing it here because she knows that this one is just so bad and different.
Yeah.
I mean, there will be the difficulty of doing it because it looks so much like
Yeah,
her,
and she also just went through the reveal that the man she had fallen in love with was a secret Klingon.
one man.
The one man she's ever fallen in love with was a secret Klingon. She is never falling in love again.
Yeah.
Like, ever. It took me so long, and I was just becoming, like, human again.
Well,
nope.
See, she knew what she was doing when she was in that fight with him on the ship there. She was invoking a Klingon mating ritual then by scratching his face like that. We all know that's how they start.
Stop.
Yeah, you go for the eye. That means real love. And I'm not going to make my follow-up joke because I'm trying to keep this channel clean-ish. Anyway.
So I think that was pretty much the episode. It was the reveals we had been looking for. I don't know how much more of the rebellion we'll see, if any. And next episode, I mean, there's so few left. I feel like I feel like the first. It wasn't even the first half. Like the 10 episodes or 9 episodes were slow, and they weren't slow, but building tension. It built tension, and it was like, every week it felt like they were so long, like to get from Sunday to Sunday, and it was like, come on, let's do this. And now it's like it's a train rushing towards me. It's gonna be here before I know it.
Yeah, Michael in the chat said Michael can't win.
Yeah,
yeah, that means so many different ways.
No, that's
but
so deep. It's deep.
So one other quick little thing I want to talk about. Oh, hold on. Maybe we should go to Black Alert because this next thing I'm about to talk about is actual spoiler theory stuff. So right now we're at Warp, but now we're going to go to Black Alert, like on the show. But our Black Alert deals with talking about theories of stuff coming down the road that aren't really spoilers because it's just things we're thinking off the top of our head. But certain people don't like thinking about that too much. They want to just watch the show and be surprised by things that come along. So this Black Alert time is time for you to be able to tune out. We hate to see you go, but this will be our last little segment for the show, and we're going to be strong this week. And Tuesday night we will be broadcasting. Oh, my brother, who's in the room, Simply Your Device on YouTube. Also, he will be here with us live in studio. Chris will have to shimmy around there, and we'll have to fit some room there. You don't have to share this in one seat. We'll get him another seat.
Good.
Anyway, yeah. So off to Black Alert talk. And now I've talked just enough. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I remember what it was now. When stuff started to go down at the end of the episode, and the Emperor's ship came in and laid waste to the planet, they were real sketchy on the things that they were saying about a ship is coming into orbit and it's powering. We can kind of tell it's powering up weapons and things, and they never show us the ship. She's on the Defiant, right? She found a way to take that more advanced ship a little. It's not as advanced now because they've jumped along, but I'm sure that a real quick backstory. Did we ever go over the backstory on here? I don't think we did because we were running too long.
That's true.
And I never did that special little side episode.
So
real quick. Original series time, which is 10 years from now.
That's what your hand went,
now? Which is 10 years from now. A Constitution-class ship, the Defiant, not from Deep Space Nine, went into the Mirror Universe, but back during Star Trek Enterprise's time, which was like about 100 years earlier. And the Terran Empire ended up with that. And so they were able to use tech from 100 years in the future of the top-of-the-line model ship to lay waste to their enemies and everything. So it would make sense that whoever was emperor would live on that ship, and she was at the end of that episode. I don't want to spoil anything, but I kind of already did if you go back and watch that Enterprise episode. Into a Mirror Darkly was a 2-part Enterprise episode, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, so it would make sense to me that they took the Defiant and whatever new tech they came up with, they were slapping on the Defiant, and like that's their premier warship. And that's where
you think it has
I
a
were the
cloaking
Emperor,
device?
Yeah, because they've run roughshod over Klingons, and they probably got whatever it was.
Invisibility screens, as they call them.
Yep. So that's about the only semi-plausible thing I can come up with right now for our Black Alert section, because they're just doing so many reveals of stuff. Now it's just like we're like on that slide going down and being like, woo, let's see what happens. All right. Anything else you want to say in our wrap up? We skipped right past the spatial anomaly section. But we didn't really have a lot of...
Yeah, I don't think that we had anything...
No little side news. The spatial anomaly section of our show would be for if there was anything non-directly show-related in the Star Trek universe that went on.
I guess the spatial anomaly part was where you just talked about the Enterprise episode.
Well, yeah.
That would have been spatial anomaly. But yeah. Oh, you know what we haven't seen yet?
What haven't we seen?
We haven't seen Mud yet.
We haven't. We know that he's signed on for other episodes this season.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's good we're talking about this in Black Alert.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to get back to a non-mirror universe.
And it's going to be our Mud?
Yeah.
Oh. No, I don't like that.
Well, I don't really like it either.
That's not what I want.
Because he's supposed to be staying out of their hair. But yeah, I would love to see mirror
I
universe.
bet we meet Mud in prison again.
Ooh.
I bet the Emperor has him in prison.
Lorca meets him in prison again,
and it's gonna be
Lorca goes in there and says,
but it's gonna be mirror universe Mud, and that one's gonna be altruistic, and he's gonna help him. He's gonna give him food, not steal food from him.
And not have a beard and mustache and be clean shaven.
Yes, it'll be fantastic. He'll be, my name is Harcourt Fenton Mudd. It's pleased to meet you.
Nice.
It'll be I put the money down.
Yeah, there's. He should be, and that does sound good. I would have been happy to see Mud be the Fire Wolf.
Oh, the Fire
Wolf. I wasn't a big fan of that one, but can't have it all.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, Tuesday night we will show something, and theoretically, if you're interested, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a small chance that tonight we're going to catch up with yesterday's episode, and maybe tomorrow afternoon we might do a short one of these about that. About Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the current season 5. No spoilers right now for anything that's going on. Spoilers except for the fact that we love it. At least I've definitely been loving it. Maybe she has. Maybe she hasn't. I don't know. But we will see. So at some point, I'm going to get a cool outro to play at this point, because I feel like we should have something cool. Because I like our little setup that we have with the gird yourselves, and we'll be going on soon. But I got to find some music thing. It's too bad we don't know anyone in a band or anything that I've asked many times to get us some music. But it's okay. His ADD kicked in. He's not in the room anymore, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, that, and we also went to Black Alert, and he hates talking about spoily things.
Oh, that's true.
That was specifically for him.
Oh, well. But I took away...
We'll withhold the pierogies.
Oh,
Write us a song. No pierogies for you.
All right. We will see everyone on Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in.
Yay!
I'm Corpulent Geek.
I'm Sci-Fi Christina.
We'll see you Tuesday.
Bye!
Oh, no. We'll see you next Tuesday.